Soon as Miss Cave. Well, that's super. You're good. Yeah. Good evening. We'd like to call this meeting back to order. We actually started our meeting a good bit earlier this evening to take care of some closed matter sessions, so we're now back in open session. And if you'd like to join us, we're going to begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, we will stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get to highlights, I would like to share, we have Mr. Cross is out of the country, and so that's why I'm chairing the meeting this evening. And you'll also note that we have another board member who is absent as well. She's got some sick kids at home, and they've had a lot of that germy, wintry wonderfulness that goes around this time of the year. So we're sad to not have them here, but this is we're going to probably have a fairly quick meeting, I think. The next thing on our item number 4, is board member comments. These are highlights by board members. Ms. Cave, would you like to go first?
Dealing with a little bit of a headache this evening, so I'm going to be really brief. I did a lot of just private meetings with parents over the past 2 weeks, and so I didn't get into our schools a whole lot, but I really, my highlight for tonight is just to thank everyone in the division for this year. I think there was a lot of hype when we came in, and I think most people found out that we're pretty reasonable people, and they've just made the experience this year really pleasant. And we've worked hard, and we've learned a lot about each other, and worked together through some really challenging things. And I just every school I go into, I'm impressed. We don't always have to agree on everything, but for the most part, people have just been kind. We've been able to work together for the good of our students, and that's really the ultimate thing, is student outcomes. And so that's what we want to work towards. So I just want to thank everybody, teachers, staff, administrators, all the assistants, custodians, the cafeteria workers. I appreciate everybody, and thank you, Dr. Shiflett, for taking on the 5 of us this year. Just appreciate appreciate all of that. So, and thank you all. Thank you, Gary, call you Sarah, Miss Hurst, Miss Lohr. I've really enjoyed this first year. It's an honor to be able to serve my community. And so I just want to thank you all, and just say that I look forward to the coming year serving Rockingham County.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. Dr. Shiflett?
So I just want to echo Mrs. K's sentiments about our people. You've heard me say it many times about, it's not our schools, it's not the facilities, which are very nice. Thank you, Steve Reed. But it's about the people in our buildings, the teachers, the administrators, the assistants, custodians. And let me give just a quick example. So today I was visiting one of our elementary schools, and when I go into classrooms, I'm always observing class sizes just to see if I feel like is there a lot of kids in here, or maybe not many students in this particular class, and just getting a feel for things. And I was visiting the school today, and I walked in the first classroom, and there's a lot of students. And so I'm kind of, having conversations and trying to count and just getting a sense of how many students are in this classroom. And it felt, man, that's pretty large. Maybe we got to go back to the drawing board. We need to hire a teacher or something. So I go to the classroom next door, And it's the same thing. And I just can't understand, why do we have 27 kids and, in an elementary classroom? This is just way too many. And so the teacher, she was working with some small groups and she had a moment. I said, you have so many students in your classroom. What's going on? And she said, well, I can explain. Our teammate, our colleague, has been on extended leave. She's battling cancer. Then she had an accident and she's been out. So the other teacher and I have decided to take her students and divide them among ourselves and teach them the English reading part of the curriculum. And I thought, well, that's a testament to the kind of people that work in Rockingham County Public Schools. They're willing to take on more students and do more of a workload for the benefit of kids, right? And that's what we're about. And so when I say we have great people, there's an example of such people. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Laura?
Thank you. Yeah, Rockingham is an amazing place to live and raise your kids. And I got to experience some of that firsthand right after Thanksgiving. As always, I was in a class, well, I was asked to come to the classroom, and it was a fusion class, a farm to plate class, and we butchered hogs. Very, very Rockingham County thing to do, right? And I looked at the kids, I'm like, guys, this is a privilege to be able to do this. This was middle schoolers, and we trusted them with knives. And we said, you need to be responsible. We are allowed to do this because nobody's ever messed this up before. And one kid even said, one kid started the whole conversation. It's like, we're not messing this up for everybody. I'm like, no, we're not. And we had an amazing day. We got an entire hog broken down into bacon and shoulders and sausage. And I'm going to go back later this week and we're going to do a barbecue. And then I'm working on making the bacon. We're curing the bacon together and we're going to let them see that whole process. But it's a really amazing thing that we can do in Rockingham because we've got great staff and great kids and we can trust them to do the right thing most of the time. And it's just, Ms. Cave, you mentioned it's an honor. It truly is an honor for us to serve this school system. And I do want to thank everyone for allowing us to be able to serve our system. And then, I guess the end of last week, I was able to travel to Richmond with Ms. Hurst. And we attended the SBMA conference and learned a lot of really valuable things that hopefully we can bring that back to the division. And one thing I was very impressed with SBMA, they kept bringing it back to student achievement. And I think moving forward next year, I think we really want to work on focusing on everything on student achievement. So those were my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Laura. I will just share, I've been really busy the last couple of weeks getting out in schools and visiting with teachers. Ms. Burgoyne and I have kind of been making our way across the county and will continue to do so. And just having an opportunity to sit and meet with teachers. We're learning so much. We're hearing so many great things. We're being invited into classrooms. And I just, again, like Dr. Shiflett said earlier, I mean, we just have amazing teachers and staff. We had some things going on at Elkton Middle and Elkton Elementary, which I'm not even sure. But, there's things sometimes that happen in our schools that require our teachers to pivot and do something completely different. And I, again, am just amazed at how flexible and how positive our teachers are, even when plans change or things need to be different in a school, or if you have to move out of your classroom for a while to another area. They really remain focused on what's best for kids and keeping academics going. So I'm really, really honored to serve, really looking forward to the next year. And like Ms. Laura said, we went to a really great conference and had some really great sessions on governance and even things as far as like school board committees. And I'm looking forward to having further conversation with board members about those things for the future. Okay, the next thing, we're moving right along, going into action items number 5. We'll start with the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes from the November 25th, 2024 meeting as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. All those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next on our list are bills and mileage. Dr. Shiflett?
Board members, I recommend approval of the November 2024 bills as presented.
Board members, do I have a motion to approve?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the November 2024 bills as presented. And mileage,
Bills and mileage.
bills and mileage.
Is mileage in there, Dr. Shiflett? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Any opposed?
I seconded it,
Ms.
but
Orr
I
second.
seconded it kind of in the middle of it. My bad. Sorry.
Motion passes 3-0. Action item C, bid recommendation for Elkton Elementary School. That's coming from Mr. Steve Reed.
Dr. Shiflett, Vice Chair Horst. The bid for renovation of Elkton Elementary was properly specified and advertised. We had 3 firms respond with sealed bids. Our recommendation is to award the contract to the low bidder, Lance Construction Company of Broadway, in the amount of $16,513,200. This will make the total project budget of $19,367,700.
Board members, I recommend awarding the bid for the renovation of Elkton Elementary School to the low bidder as presented by Steve Reed, Director of Maintenance.
Board members, do I have a motion to approve?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to award the bid for the renovation of Elkton Elementary School to the low bidder as presented by Steve Reed.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Mr. Reed? Or in general? Okay, thank you, Mr. Reed. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Mr.
I
Reed.
also have 3 contracts here that
Oh.
need signature. I'll give the paper.
Okay. Thank you. Item D, policy revisions. Ms. Tennell. Did I say your name correctly? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Are you Madam Chairman this evening? Is that
Just
what I
for the
shall call you?
evening.
For the evening? Well, greetings to all of you and Dr. Shiflett, members of the board. I brought policies for information at our last meeting, and I'm bringing them to you tonight for information. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Dr. Shiflett.
Board members, I recommend approval of the proposed policy revisions as presented.
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the proposed policy revisions as presented.
Second.
Any discussion, board members?
I do have one question. I don't know how this passed me, but the BDDL, it's a complete edition of the current VSBA policy. We didn't have one. I don't know why it just looks so familiar to me. Maybe it's because I read it. And now it looks
I'll
familiar
look
again
back. I
tonight,
mean,
but-
it wouldn't typically, I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, so this policy is for committees' participation by electronic
Remote.
means, right? So we're not talking about, maybe I'm thinking about the policy where a board member can participate in a
That-
meeting.
That one's in BDD at the top. Is that the one you're referencing, electronic participation in school board meetings from remote locations?
So that's a revised, that's probably the policy that I'm thinking about. So we did not have one for committees.
No, all of those policies, we did not have any policy. They were
Right.
new ones that came out from the VSBA.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. We have a motion on the floor, a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Okay, next on our list is the comprehensive plan for the 2024 through 29 calendar year, school year. Did we ever decide if that was school year or calendar year? School.
Cool. Yep. Board members, I recommend approval of the comprehensive plan 2024 to 2029 as presented.
Board members, do I have a motion?
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the comprehensive plan 2024 to 2029 as presented. And then, yeah.
And do we have a second for that?
Second.
Any
Okay.
discussion?
And now there's
Yeah.
discussion.
Because I have been feeling for a little while that that's why we've kind of talked a little bit one-on-one about this, but I've kind of been feeling a little bit, and this is echoed with several other board members, I believe. They can speak up here for sure, but I have kind of been wanting to, I think we've done a really good job. I think Dr. Shiflett, you should be commended on leading us through the process. We've gotten a lot of good input from the community. We've been working on this for a long time, but there was one more checkpoint that I would like to have, and I would like for us to just consult with someone from the outside, someone outside of Rockingham County that has some experience in comprehensive plans. We came across someone that does this and consults within the School Board Member Alliance. And I sent an email just to see if this would be something that they do. I got an email back today that yes, they'd be glad to take a look at it and just provide some feedback for us. Maybe, maybe we're so in our shell, like in our own box, that we're not seeing, something else, or we should be looking at a different perspective. And so I just thought it might be good to maybe postpone the vote until our next school board meeting, our next business meeting, which is in January. And in the meantime, have someone take a look at our comprehensive plan, just go through it, just ask some thoughtful questions about it. Make sure we've really looked at it in depth. And so that's what I'm asking for tonight, is that we just delay the acceptance. I think, again, for me, it's not a criticism of the plan or that I think something's wrong. It's just I want one more checkpoint, one more checkbox, one more box checked, I think. And so that's what I'm asking for tonight.
Yeah, I think we were sitting at the same presentation, and they started talking about the comprehensive plan and how we really need to focus it on student achievement. And I got excited and went out and got my Chromebook and pulled up our comprehensive plan. And I'm like, just don't know that we've got all our boxes checked. So we were kind of having the same thought. So at this time, I would like to move that we postpone this motion until January 13th, our next school board meeting. And in the meantime, have a consultant look over it. So we need a second for that.
I'll second.
Are we going to have discussion on this?
And now we have
Because I
discussion.
didn't get to discuss
Yes,
that.
please discuss.
I just wanted to add, I'm fine with doing that, and I think I think initially the reason that we did not want to do that was because we didn't really have a firm or an organization that we felt like really trusted or really held the same values as we do here in Rockingham County. And so a lot of times these processes will be started with a firm that will come in and will help you kind of craft a draft of what you are working on at that time. And I know most of us, we didn't really want to do that because we wanted our vision to be really put forward in the plan. And that's why we did not do it from the beginning. I like that the foundation for this comp plan has been laid by this board, this county, and that it hasn't been someone that's, out of Charlottesville or out of somewhere where, maybe they're very different than what we are here. And so what I like is that we found someone through the SBMA that we can kind of say, this is our vision. Is there anything we could add to it that would sort of encompass anything more for student outcomes that we've possibly missed or whatever? So I don't mind on the back end having this, whatever they are, a firm or organization come in and look at it. Just to make sure we didn't miss anything, because that's what you said. And I like that part of it. So I'm in agreement with this tonight, but I like that we did it this way, and who knows who will be here 5 years from now to do this again. But I think it's great that we laid the foundation. So I'm okay with this tonight.
Any other questions or comments?
I do have to say that I was very impressed with the comp plan that was presented as an example of somebody else's comp plan at the conference. So I'm comfortable with this as well.
Yeah. And like I said, for me, it's not a criticism of our plan. I think we've got a really good plan. And I think Dr. Shiflett did a really great job of kind of guiding us through the process and kind of teasing out, all of the things that we want to see. I just always like to have a second set of eyes, another set of eyes on it. So with the motion on the floor to delay, what was your motion?
Motion on the floor.
Motion on the floor to postpone. To postpone definitely, which in my newness, I had to ask Ms. Laura, does that mean like forever or?
No, because postpone I'm sorry. Actually, one of the people that taught me some of this stuff is sitting in the room, so I keep kind of looking over. But postpone definitely, indefinitely means that it kills the motion. Yeah. Postpone definitely means it will definitely be on our next agenda. So we're postponing it to that exact date.
Thank you for clarifying. She's going to be our parliamentary expert over here.
Only if other people are in the room with me at the time.
All those in favor say yes.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Okay, we're on item number 6.
Do we have to go back and vote on that original motion?
We will on.
Oh, that's the one they put, okay.
So
I'm good.
Good
Thank you.
question.
It takes a while to learn.
Yes, it does. Thanks for helping us out, Ms. Laura. That brings us to information items. We have 2 of those, or really just one, but Ms. Abernathy is going to come and present a calendar draft.
Good evening. Thank you, Vice Chair Horst, Dr. Shiflett, members of the board. Thank you for having me here tonight to share with you the proposed draft for the calendar for the 2025-26 school year. It's hard to believe that we're thinking about that. With me tonight is Miss Janae Pettit. She's an ag teacher at Broadway, hence why Miss Laura was looking over for all the Parley Pro information. She's also working on her admin degree, and she's on the calendar committee, and she volunteered to take our stakeholder survey and go through all of that because there's about 2,000 responses. And so she went through and disaggregated the data and put things together for our committee to look at our last meeting. So thank you to Janae for doing that, and to our calendar committee for the time and effort that they put into this as well. So I am here tonight to present the proposed calendar for the 25-26 school year. The committee feels like that what we've put together certainly balances instructional time, holidays, work days, professional development, and the community needs that we read about in our survey. As I was here at last board meeting back in October, I shared with you that we formed a committee of 16 stakeholders that included teachers, administrators, county office staff, and parents. Again, we met with the school board back on the 28th in October, and we talked about what to put into the survey at the time. And as always, what we've done for many years, we tried to align with Harrisonburg as much as possible because we do share resources like MTC, and we have a lot of parents and students that work in one division and students are in another division. So we try to align with them as much as possible. And they've been great to work with. I've been in touch with Joy Blosser multiple times. So some considerations that were made in the survey, and some of you may have seen that survey. The day of the week, the survey responses indicate there was really no definitive desire on what day of the week that we started school. They just didn't want it to be a Monday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday was pretty even across the board. Early release days on the first few days of school was something that was brought up for us to consider. And there was a very overwhelming majority of people that did not like that idea because they really spend those first few weeks in developing routines and patterns with students. And just in general, administrators and teachers, I don't believe care a lot for the early dismissal days because it's very just disruptive to the normal regular operations of what goes on in a school. You have to do a lot of different things on early dismissal days. So anyway, there's an overwhelming majority of respondents who did not want the early dismissals. Rockingham County Fair involvement, the majority of the respondents indicated they attend the fair 1 to 2 times a week, with many stating that they don't attend the fair at all. And in previous years, we've heard the dilemma of which event do families attend? Do they attend the back to school nights that we have that have traditionally been during Fair Week, or do they go to the fair? And so for this reason, we've moved the back to school nights the following week, which I'll go into more in just a moment. A full week at Thanksgiving is certainly becoming more of a trend across the state. And according to our survey, out of the 7 options that folks had to rank 1 through 7, a week at Thanksgiving fell at number 3, with number 1 being 2 weeks at winter break. The second option was a full week at spring break. That was the second preferred answer. The third preferred answer was a full week at Thanksgiving break. But we also know that if we give that Monday or Tuesday in the calendar, it'd be really difficult to get that Monday and Tuesday back if we ever felt like we wanted to get back in school on a Monday and Tuesday. And again, we're trying to align with Harrisonburg, and that wasn't something that they'd considered, was having that Monday and Tuesday off. We did pull some data, if you're interested in looking at the data, but we pulled the data from this school year and last school year, and we compared the Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving break to the previous week, Monday and Tuesday. As you can imagine, the Tuesday date, attendance rates significantly increased on Tuesday. Monday, they increased a little bit from the previous week, Monday before Thanksgiving break, but not as significant as the Tuesday. The Tuesday date, they pretty much doubled on the absentee rate. But we did pull some of that data if you're interested, and I can share that with you. And President's Day Monday versus Super Bowl Monday. So many respondents like the idea of having Super Bowl Monday off. That would be a teacher workday. But most really didn't have an opinion of which day they preferred for students not to attend school. Oh, sorry, let's go there. They really didn't have a preference on which day for the students not to attend school. Members of the committee, as well as quite a few stakeholders, had comments of the survey that expressed concerns about structuring our calendar around a sporting event such as a Super Bowl. There were many comments about, hey, I was just up for the World Series each night till midnight. Can we have the day after the World Series? And what about the national championship? And all those types of things were in the comments as well. And again, we're trying to align with the best we can with Harrisonburg City, and they'd already indicated that they were going to have February 16th and 17th off. And I think back in our October meeting, we stated the following year, the NFL was finally on our page, and Super Bowl Monday is on President's Day Monday the following year as well. And the length of the school year, as you can imagine, when you receive this many survey responses, like I said, it was almost 2,000. There's a wide variety of responses that we get, from starting school earlier to making sure we start after the fair, to starting after Labor Day. Let's start after Labor Day and finish before Memorial Day. Or I'd rather start after Labor Day and go through the middle of June. So there's all sorts of things to consider. There were also quite a few comments about year-round school considerations that I thought was something different that we haven't seen in years past as well. Oops. Did I already go through? There we go. Okay. There's, so the main overview, there's 173.5 instructional days, 21.5 teacher work days or professional learning days. This includes 3 flex days, which are August 4th through the 8th, the 14th and 15th of August, and January 2nd. And that looks a little bit different than what we've done previously, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. There's 195 designated days out of the 200-day teacher contract. That leaves 5 unencumbered days for teachers for evening activities, literacy nights, any programs that they may have at school in the evenings, and also for planning and grading. So that is a full work week that's unencumbered for them to be in the building. That's not in their contract actual working hours. All right, teacher flex day opportunities. So teachers are required to work 3 flex days on any of the dates that I just shared with you. This does look a little bit differently. So as you look at the calendar in front of you, it's highlighted in pink, or maybe a light purple, are the teacher flex days. And again, it's August 4th through the 8th. And something a little different this year, the calendar committee said, you know, we really want our flex days to be worthwhile. So what if we looked at doing something a little bit differently and came into work and had a first few days to get all of our meetings in? So on that Monday would be the meeting with the administrator of their school to get all the information that they need to get from their administration. Tuesday and Wednesday would be the professional development days with the division, so they can get all the updates on standards. And then that Thursday and Friday, the 14th and 15th, are flex days. So if teachers want to work that Thursday and Friday, they can come in and get all that information, synthesize it, do whatever they'd like to do with it on those 2 flex days. Or they don't have to work on those 2 days. That's entirely up to them. And for those who are really involved in the fair, I think the sale is on Friday?
Yes.
So the sale is on Friday. So if those folks choose to not work on that day, they can go to the sale. But that does give a little bit more flexibility to teachers, and it gives them the opportunity to actually feel like that they're using those flex days worthwhile at the beginning of the school year. And I personally think that's an ingenious idea. So you like that?
Because, well, I will just pipe in and say I'm excited to see how this turns out for teachers. Like on paper, it looks really cool.
Mhm.
I know, like oftentimes you set up your classroom and then what? Because you don't have your class lists, you don't have your data yet. There's so much that you can't do, or this seems like it'll be a really good, effective use of flex day time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see. This is a cool proposal.
And it was an elementary teacher that brought it up in one of our small committee groups. And I believe it was shared with the TAC representative teachers last week. And I believe they like that idea. So I'm hoping that it does look good on paper and it looks good in practice too.
Yeah.
So the open house I'd referenced earlier, we scheduled open house for Monday and Tuesday after Fair Week. So in previous years, again, we've had, do I go to open house? Do I go to the fair events that night? So we've scheduled those the week after. So Monday the 18th is back to school night for elementary and MTC folks. And then Tuesday the 19th is back to school night for secondary students. And then Wednesday's is a work day. So no one has to be out late for back to school nights and with students coming in the very next day. Then we would start school on Thursday. So that first day of school would be a Thursday. That allows a 1 odd and 1 even day for secondary students to just get into the swing of things just those first couple of days of school. And Thanksgiving break is our traditional 3 days out of school. Winter break's 2 weeks. The 22nd of December to January 2nd, and January 2nd is also a teacher flex day. We built in a flex day in this year's current calendar. I think it's January 3rd this year. So it'll be interesting to see how many teachers choose to want to come in and work that as one of their flex days to get into the building after having 2 weeks off. And spring break, March 30th to April 3rd, followed by a half day of teacher work day and half school led PD day on April 6th. So winter break, spring break correspond with Harrisonburg City, which are 2 big days, 2 big times, and days out of school to correspond with them. The last day of school is a half day on June 3rd. And teacher work days, there's one scheduled at the end of each term, like we've done historically. And with professional learning days, there's between teacher work days and PD days, there's 21 and a half days without students in the building. And in comparison to this year's schedule, there's 20 and a half. So there's 1 extra day for them. So the calendar committee feels very positive about the proposed calendar that we've devised, as it meets the instructional hours for our students, which we need 990 instructional hours. For our staff and our students, and it provides work days and professional learning opportunities, and takes into consideration our community nuances with the county fair and the main requests of having 2 weeks off for winter break and 1 week off for spring break. So what questions do you have? And Janae, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity to serve on this committee, and I really appreciated this because I believe I am lucky enough to have the chance to look at this from multiple perspectives. I'm a parent of students in RCPS. I'm an RCPS employee myself. I have the teacher experience, and now I'm trying to learn how to look through the lens of an administrator. And with all those different viewpoints, I feel like this checks all of my boxes. So I feel supported as a teacher. I feel heard as a parent. And especially as an ag teacher, I know our agricultural community really expressed a a great deal of interest and concern in how the calendar comes together. And as part of that community myself, I think this meets all the criteria from all the perspectives. So thank you for considering it.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments?
Okay, I really want to say, I feel like you brought Ms. Pettit just to make me feel better because I've been telling her for like 2 years now, I can't believe my child is graduating and I want them to stay. And now I really want them to stay because this is the calendar I've been looking for the whole time I've been a parent at RCPS with kids showing. So thank you so
We
much.
could have brought her years ago.
Brought her months and years ago. But thank you, because yeah, this is the calendar I've been looking for all this time.
Okay.
And we're going, oh, but I do have one question about it.
Yes.
How are we for bank days?
So for banked days, we have, I don't think I brought my number of hours, but as far as days go, we have about 15 extra
Oh,
days
wow. Okay.
based on the hours that we have.
But remember that comment earlier about student achievement,
Yes.
right? That we
Yeah.
were going to focus on student achievement. Students usually don't learn too well at home, so they need to be in school. So although there may be 15 bank days, we would have to be very thoughtful about missing 15 days and not making any days up, right? I mean, that would be a lot. But we go by hours, not days.
And
So we would have some hours in there for flooding, because that seems to be the most popular reason we miss here lately. But we would have to have some conversations if we missed that many days as to whether or not we would need to make some up, just for, I mean, seriously, for academic purposes, right? If you're teaching, Algebra 1, and that's a course that a student has to take and pass for high school credit, and you miss 3 weeks of instruction, that's pretty significant. So we would have to have some conversations about it, but there's definitely some time banked in there, so.
And the main reason I asked, because as a mom and as a school board member, I'm always like, okay, there's 1, there's 2. And when we get into like 2 weeks of school being canceled, I like to go, oh, well, there goes spring break. I do keep that in my mind. So I feel,
Right.
Ms.
And the superintendent keeps count too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I think if we get to 10, we would start having conversations with the board to say, okay, what direction do we go? June 3rd is an early, getting out of school early for that year. That's awesome. I just want
This is amazing. I can't believe that we have bank days and this calendar. Excellent
I tell you
job.
what, Donna Abernathy, she does great work.
She
So
does.
who's doing
That's the
calendar
Broadway
before that?
side.
Yeah.
So I want to make 2 comments. First, Mrs. Abernathy and your committee, excellent work. I know a guy once who used to do the school calendar.
I'm picking it up now.
I have asked Dr. Shiflett repeatedly for this calendar.
That's okay. That's okay. So it's hard, right? Because you have a lot of wants and desires and you cannot do it all. So, but I tell you, this is maybe as good as it gets. So kudos to you for doing all the work. And I also want to add that I did share this and I handed them out and collected them at the teacher advisory last week. And we had a conversation about the flex days, and they thought this is very unique. We like this approach. And I also posed to them, do you want a full week at Thanksgiving? And a majority of them, I think all of them said, no, we're fine. We're happy with the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, because if you wanted to give that Monday and Tuesday, then you'd have to go somewhere in this calendar and find those 2 days to replace them. And they said, yeah, we noticed there was a few students maybe who were absent that day, but not so much that it impacted what we were doing in the classroom. We did business as normal. So I think that's a good decision. That's my opinion. I'm not voting, so.
You also did remind me, I totally neglected in my highlights to talk about the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Several of us went to MTC and had breakfast. And in the past, we've been invited to other places for lunch. I think the schools really do make a good use of those 2 days and celebrating. And I've heard teachers say, this is the only Thanksgiving some of these kids get. So let's make use of that time. So I appreciate that that's in there. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll be back in January to ask for approval.
Ms. Cave, do you have anything to add? I will just echo a lot of what has been shared. I think this, I'm excited about this, and I know it's a lot of hard work to take everyone's hopes and dreams, and there's a lot of opinions when it comes to, 2,000 opinions, and those are just the ones who took the time to type them out. There's still opinions. I don't think we're as a division ready to talk about year-round school, but I'll just put a plug out there for year-round school. You can have it all.
Yes, you
You can have everything you want if you go to year-round school. I don't think we're ready for that, but I'm excited to see this plan. I think, and thank you for your hard work and for putting it all together. It looks like a good calendar, and I'm excited to hear feedback on these flex days. I think that this would have made me really excited as a teacher. So I'm sure we have lots of thrilled people. So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, board members, I believe the next information item is the financial review, which has been included in your folder. And that brings us to item number 7, which is public comments. We don't have anyone signed up for public comments tonight. So that brings us to other business, which is closing questions and comments from board members. We'll start with Ms. Lohr.
Thank you. I guess I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for coming tonight and wish you the happiest of holiday seasons between Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year. We've got quite a few coming. So I hope you all have a wonderful season. And also to thank, it's Officer Warhol, did I say it? Warwood. Okay, I always mess up your name, I'm sorry. But I appreciate you being here with us tonight. Thank you for your service. And that's all I have.
Ms. Cave?
I would just echo that I always mess up his name as well. That's why I like calling you by your first. It's no disrespect. It's just easier. I don't have anything tonight.
Dr. Shiflett?
Yes, one more comment about the calendar. This is proposed and will be approved at the next meeting about a month or 2 earlier than normal. So families who are planning vacations can please take a look at this calendar, and you can make your, try to make your vacations accordingly if possible. I understand that there's other variables. We're not the only person at the table. And also, I'd just like to wish everyone a happy holiday. There are 9 days until winter break. Not that I'm counting or anything like that, but there are 9 days, and we'll have 2 weeks off for our students and our teachers, and for them to recharge. And again, hopefully everyone has a wonderful holidays.
Okay, I don't have anything else to add myself. Thank you all for coming out tonight. This meeting's adjourned.